What is up, YouTubers in YouTube land? We are the Thralls of Metal. I am Jammin Jon.
Rin.
Necrotic Nick.
And we are bringing you yet another album review. Coming out on Napalm Records on the 21st of May, 2021, is the band Vexed.
Not to be confused with Vexed, the solo band of Tommy Vexed.
Or the 80s thrash band Vexed, which is also spelled the same as this Vexed. This is very vexing. Ha ha ha!
Hi. Yeah.
The band Vexed with all capitals, with their album Culling Culture. This is their first full-length album, I think.
I believe so.
Might be their second. We actually couldn't find a whole lot of info on
It was difficult. They did form in 2019, I believe. They are from Hertfordshire, UK.
Hertfordshire.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire?
UK. They have, I believe, a couple of singles before this, or another album before this. I'm not entirely sure. It might be like an EP or just some songs they put out. But I know that they did a song with CJ from Thy Artist Murder. And, well, all right, classifying this band. I don't know, it kind of got a little difficult. The first term I heard was modern metal, which is deliberately vague, I think.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we have elements of groove metal, gent.
It's definitely genty.
Definitely gent.
I mean...
New-ish metal?
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of said it earlier, like, it sounds like it would have been really popular in the late 90s for, like, new metal, and then it sounds like it would have fit in perfectly in the, like, 2008, 2009 era of gent.
And deathcore. And deathcore, I think, is definitely a part of this, too. It's kind of an amalgamation of all of that, and, well, I mean, it does that pretty well. The opening track, the intro track, which is, it's kind of odd. It's just this less than a minute long song. You get some cop sirens and...
That's ignorant.
And apparently they called the cops on the Acacia Strain riffs that they were playing, and she throws out some growls, and I gotta say...
Oh my god.
She owns on this.
Yep.
Like, rapid fire cadences, her range is spectacular.
Her cleans are pretty, she growls, she grunts.
Death growls.
Yep, screams.
We get a bleh.
Oh yeah, you gotta have bleh.
You get a bleh in the beginning.
The market is still sound for bleh.
Sound invest.
You're gonna start hearing them in Ariana Grande.
Now is the time to invest in bleh.
Bleh coin.
If it would have been a male vocalist, I don't think I would have liked this. It would have
been.
I think a male vocalist would have screwed this up.
And honestly, like, I think it's like conviction behind what she's doing. Like, you can tell. She is cashed in on this.
Not pretending.
This is like genuine rage and just awesome vocals. Again, like the cleans are just as good as the growls.
Yeah.
And rhythmically, she is all over the place.
Rapid fire.
Yeah, dude. She spits better bars than half the rappers out there, dude.
Yeah.
Like, the way she weaves it in and out of the songs, and, like, sometimes she's following the palm mutes on the guitar, and sometimes she's following the kick drum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's an 8-mile road in Hertfordshire, but probably isn't because they use the metric system.
The second, third, fourth, and fifth song on this album are all singles plus badass videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get a sense of how vicious she is in the videos, too. Like,
Well, yeah, when they're drowning her in a...
Yeah, that was a little...
bucket of water.
That was, I mean, hey, you got the shot, but Jesus Christ, don't die for it.
Right.
Yeah, let her breathe a little bit.
Cool.
It did look cool.
Yeah.
And, I mean, she looks as vicious underwater as she does above.
It's true.
You know, that's the thing, like, the conviction in her absolutely fucking sells me in terms of, like, just the raw hostility of what she's saying.
I mean, really, the vocals kind of sell this band, because without these unique vocals, it just reminds me of all the gent bands I liked when they came out. You know, Vildiarda, Born of Osiris when they started, Humanity's Last Breath, you know, early Veil of Maya, and that's pretty much it across the board, but the vocalist is what brings it home.
Stellar.
This is a very groovy style of gent too. Like this doesn't really get into blast beats or like big thrashy sections
Or super, super odd time signatures.
Yeah,
It doesn't get...
it sticks the 4/4 time for the most part.
Yeah,
You know,
For the
it-
most part, there are a couple moments where it skips around a little bit. Like in the song Hideous, that riff reminded me of like Viljarda in the sense where they start off with one beat and then in the middle of the rhythm, they switch up the time signature and then go back. So that kind of happens, but for the most part, the drum work is actually really straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just that typical genty beat.
I mean, they love the breakdown. I love breakdowns. Breakdowns are great. When it's entirely a breakdown, that's kind of where I kind of get bored with it. I don't want to get bored with breakdowns because I love those things. But a good chunk of this is built around like, staccato riffing, palm muting, the genty kind of binary ones and zeros
The
sort of
bendies.
thing. Yeah.
Oh, dude, there's Bend City on this.
And then behind it, you generally have like some layer of ambience, whether it's like sort of a strummed tremolo or like keys. There are definitely some pianos here and there. But the music really just kind of locks onto that sound. And while it's good, it's kind of not my thing, just in terms of there's not a lot of dynamics after a while. Like almost all the dynamics end up coming from her.
That's true.
That is true. I really like it. I mean, I like the groove, and I like simple gent. I'm a sucker for string bends and...
Yeah.
Like,
It's kind of the greatest hits of that genre.
A lot of the stuff that I liked on here was when they kind of stepped outside of like the full bore gent mode, like, just, the straight up Meshuggah worship. Hideous and Epiphany actually stood out to me initially just because they had big choruses. And Jesus Christ, does she own them?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They're just intensely melodic, and even though like the clean vocals, you can definitely tell there's like a lot of like, extra filters on there. You can tell she can sing. Like,
Yeah.
it's there. It's very clear, and I mean, I would love to see this done live because it's that impressive.
Well, from what I've seen on one of their interview videos, they had a bunch of stuff booked for last year, and
last year.
thing.
that's over, though.
They were trying to strike while the iron was hot. Then the
I get
iron had a cold.
Big one, very contagious, touched everybody.
A song that I really liked, actually throughout the day, I've been jamming this all day too. The song Narcissist. That song is just damn heavy. So damn heavy. And the little creepy diddly thing behind the riff, that was a cool thing. Because there's not a whole lot in the way of dynamics here. But this was something special that stood out, because even when they get real melodic, it doesn't really...
It's certainly sort of that ambient sort of like drone in the background.
Yeah,
that was actually in the forefront. And it was really cool. It kind of, flavored it a little bit.
With the kick drum doing...
Yep.
And then Weaponize and Lazarus, along with Narcissist, both show off that rapid fire cadence that she has. And
It's so cool.
it's
it's
really
pretty
awesome.
cool.
Like, I mean, the music behind it I think is good. It's just, for me, not terribly interesting. But she, again, spices it up with this outright rhythmic hostility. It's just, it's really, really cool to listen to. But the thing that caught me off guard, but in a good way, where the songs Purity and Aurora, this almost sounded like an entirely different band with her fronting it. Predominantly clean vocals on these, and the song structure changes almost dramatically, I would say. Purity actually has like a more up-tempo sort of rhythm. It doesn't stick that, same like head-bobbing groove, which you could bang your head like this throughout most of this album and you would always catch that groove.
Yeah.
This breaks it up a little bit. The guitar work is a little bit more proggy.
Reminds me of Scale the Summit.
Yeah, a little bit.
But with vocals.
And Aurora is very similar in that way too. Like there's a big melodic hook, and occasionally you get like big melodic hooks, but they kind of go to the Jet Factory a little too often. Misery, I love the opening riff on that song. It's a really solid riff. It's like, ooh, okay, this is a solid melodic hook to it, and then it goes right into the gent fields to harvest the fresh gent and put it in the song. I'm kind of tired of jet riffs after a certain point. Like, unless it's like a Meshuggah album, which I will probably always love that band. It kind of gets old after a while. But she does a lot of cool things on top of it, so I don't know. It's enough to make this interesting for me to like come back to.
It's nothing I haven't heard before, but again, the vocals make it special.
Yeah.
She can do everything. Everything so far. I mean, unless she's got some black metal shrieks she's holding back, which I'm not going to put it past her. I think she could probably do it. But yeah, like she has pretty much the whole wheelhouse here. And again, the band is good and they're young. And that's the main thing. Like this band formed in 2019. They're early 20s. If anything, they're still kind of figuring out their sound. And again, the fact that this album has some interesting turns in it in terms of like, well, we should try this a little bit or try that a little bit, tells me they're still kind of experimenting. You know, they're still trying to find their way. And I'm curious to see where this band goes in the future.
Yeah, me too. That's kind of where we're sitting with this album. I personally, I'm going to give this a 4. I've jammed this all day. First of all, I love the mix on this album. It's just big and rich and full, and you know, with Gent, you gotta have that beef in there. Those big beefy chugs, and that's what's in here. Again, there's nothing overly special, but the vocal performance really makes this exciting, I think. And like Nick said too, I want to see where the band goes next beyond this, because I think they're going to find out that they need to push themselves a little bit more in the future, and that's going to be a good thing for this band. So 4, go out and buy it. Go out and jam it, listen to it, show it to your grandparents.
They're not going to like it.
They're not going to like
They're
it.
not going to like it, but play it. Play it for the neighbors, loud, at 3 in the morning.
They might like it.
They might.
Hell with it. I'm going to go with a 4 as well. I kind of skipped Gent. Like, I liked Meshuggah and a couple other bands. I can't even think of any right now. As being not a big Gent fan, they do everything I liked about Gent. So, together with a monstrous vocalist, that she's got all the wheelhouses covered, besides the black metal scream, which she's probably working on. The guys are young, and they'll latch onto a sound and stuff. Can't wait for the next album. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be the foil here. I'm going to give it 3. It's a good album, and I think the thing that really makes it good is the same thing we're all agreeing on here.
Absolutely.
Is the amazing
Yeah,
frontwoman.
yeah.
She has the whole package. Again, pretty sure she's working on that black metal scream. We'll probably hear it on the next album.
Do it.
Give it.
I want to do it. Do it. That'd be sweet.
But musically, I was a little bored. I mean, I was big into Gent, and
It was
then
a short record, too.
Yeah. So, I mean, it didn't really branch out. It really kind of stayed kind of stagnant on the Gent thing up until the end for me, where they kind of like branched out and showed off a little bit more melody and some different tempos. I'm curious where this band's going to go, because they definitely have honed in on the Gent sound. They have it. If they want to move on, I totally understand, because you owned it right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just not that interesting to me. I'm not saying it won't be interesting to you. If you love Gent and like kind of melodic deathcore, like nu metal nuances,
Kind of like newer Fit for an Autopsy.
or Brand of Sacrifice, except not as gloriously overproduced. This is, a decent album. It's not necessarily my wheelhouse, but there are definitely some things I appreciate about it. And like I said, if you like any of those things, definitely go check it out. And again, curious to see where they go from here.
And that brings us to the end of this little review. If you guys like what you saw, please give it a big old thumbs up. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell that lets you know when we repost stuff. Also, we're on Patreon. That's right, Patreon. If you want to see what goes on behind the scenes here of Thralls, and when we make those jokes and we laugh a whole bunch and then the video cuts, there's a lot more going on. And additionally, beyond that, we have another giveaway. Thralls likes to give away stuff when we hit monumental marks, such as the one we're about to hit, which is 6,000 subscribers. 6,000. I can't believe it. I can't believe that 6,000 people watch this. Us. Look at these idiots.
Robots.
There's no accounting for taste.
None whatsoever.
Thank you, though.
Thank you. I mean, we did set the bar pretty low. Anyway. Thank you very much, you guys. When we hit 6,000 subs, really all you gotta do is comment on the video we posted for the giveaway. We're giving away 4 CDs, and I think we're gonna give away one of these little nifty things, a Thralls of Metal sticker that you can put on your fridge, or your car, or your music case, your cat, the neighbor's cat.
All the cats.
Yep, a library bathroom. Bunch of neat stuff coming, so stick around. So yeah, that's all we got for you. You guys take care.